Here comes Lord Devereux, ready to fight. Wild-eyed and restless, he's been up all night. He may not know much, but he knows that he's right. Never
Give ye good morrow, my lord. I trust your lordship is well this day.
Well? God's body! Am I likely to be well? I have been languishing under lock and key while all England goes to ruin.
Yes. I did hear something of your arrest. I take it your encounter with the Queen did not go as well as planned.
Nay, 'twas a disaster. I took the precaution of seeking an audience with Her Majesty just after dawn, to be sure I would find her alone. But when I entered her bedchamber, she let out such a blood-curdling scream it alerted the palace guards, who ran into the room and arrested me.
But you were imprisoned in your York House residence, were you not? The fact that you were placed under house arrest and not imprisoned in the Tower surely speaks to the Queen's fondness for you. I trust your time in confinement was not uncomfortable, at least.
Well, yes, my time away from the world and its trifling concerns did, in truth, prove useful. It afforded me time to reflect on larger questions, to take stock of my life and put recent events in perspective.
I see. And what resolution did this quiet period of sober reflection bring you? A closer relationship with God? Or perchance you are resolved to spend more time with your family?
What? Nay! I said my mind was turned to larger questions. To wit, am I destined for greater things? Am I chosen by God to rule a kingdom? For I must needs act. The realm is under threat from within. For why was I verily imprisoned? Was it merely to punish me for some trifling mistakes I made in Ireland? Nay, 'twas to separate me from the Queen.
Well, I imagine after discovering you in Her Majesty's bedchamber...
Do you not yet see? The Privy Council means to keep me away from Whitehall, lest I see how they have contrived to control and manipulate the Queen since I left for Ireland.
My lord! Are you saying the Queen is weak and no longer in control of her reign?
Aye, indeed. Something must be done about it. Well, man, do not just stand there.
Yes, of course, my lord. Let us see whether the stars may give you your answer. Is Robert Lord Devereux, Earl of Essex, destined to, rule England? The stars confirm your fears, my lord. Her Majesty's failure to provide an heir has created the conditions for much plotting and scheming, and her refusal thus far to name a successor has provided an opportunity for powerful forces who would seek to gain control of the throne. Indeed, the realm is in grave danger, and the stars suggest that you are a strong, wise leader, chosen by God to lead England, mayhap as Lord Protector of the realm?
By God's underlumps, 'tis true! Huzzah!
As to practical matters, the stars suggest you use your significant wealth to, ensure cooperation and procure the influence you will need to secure success in this endeavor.
Then I will rally my forces and make the necessary preparations. For England, for God, Queen, and country! Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Almighty God, redeem thy servant Sabbath track, for thy eternal grace and mercy is not shed by his wife.
Good day, Dean Blarg. How now, good sir? I see you do ail of something.
I do ail of something, Forman. Forsooth, I fear I am very ill indeed, for I tremble day and night with fever, and my face does itch and prick with pain.
Verily. You do exhibit upon your nose and cheeks a rash of a most remarkable hue.
Before you do this reading for me, Forman, I must have your word that you will not speak of this to my wife, Alice. In truth, I have had her believe that I was set upon by an angry swarm of wasps that have lately been nesting in the north transept of the cathedral.
I do understand. A kind husband would naturally wish to shield his wife from any undue distress.
Ah, yea, that of course. And there be also the small matter of the promise I did make to restore the Blagg family fortune before I died, and thus not leave my wife and children to live in penury when I am gone. If Mistress Blagg were to think that I am gravely ill, it would provoke some awkwardness between us that I would rather wish to avoid.
Ah, I take it then that your finances are also in poor health.
Forsooth they are. And had you warned me that the Archbishop would never grant me the bishopric of Salisbury, perchance I may have acted sooner to recover them.
I see. Well, as to your wife, Alice, be not afeard, sir. We doctors take querent confidentiality most seriously. As Hippocrates did say, testa Apollinum medicum secreta. Among other things. Now, mayhap we proceed to consult the stars on the matter of your condition. With what disease is my querent Thomas Blagg troubled, and how may he be cured? It would seem you are troubled with a severe disease of the skin known as erysipelas. It is quite serious, though you may find some temporary relief from the pain and fever by vigorously purging from your fundament. To induce such a thing, I do advise the consumption of a considerable quantity of prunes, or mayhap rhubarb. Of course, it does depend on the season.
Erysipelas? Prunes? O merciful Lord, if it be thy will that I should die, and if thou hast writ these mortal signs upon the stars, I beseech thee, have thy servant Simon Forman speak the truth.
Prithee, sir, I had not finished. Oh, my dear friend, I will not lie to you. Your condition is quite advanced. In truth, I fear you must prepare for the worst. If you will not share this grave news with Mistress Blagg, perchance you might speak to her from the safety of, from beyond the grave? That is to say, write her a letter that may be read to her after you're gone. Your loving words, though thus delayed, may provide her comfort in her time of grief and destitution.
God bless you for your candour, sir, as well your wisdom and friendship these last years. I will now go and pray upon what you have told me.
An explorer's wife cannot share his life. She is left alone, she is left alone. Whilst he is at sea, in a way so she. God at home.
Good day, Mistress Fortescue. How may I help you this day? You seem a little out of breath.
Aye, 'tis but my bodice. My maidservant did lace it far too tightly. Methinks she is a trifle vexed with me. Indeed, the atmosphere in the Fortescue household is exceeding ill at present.
Verily? And why is that?
Someone has been stealing food from the larder in the night. This morning, 3 whole swan pies were missing. Each member of the Fortescue household suspects another.
And whom do you think is the author of these thefts, madam?
Well, I suspect my son Harold, as his fondness for pie is well known. But Harry denies it and has accused our maidservant Gladys. And 'tis true that Gladys has become suspiciously wide about the girth of late. And as for Gladys, well, she is convinced the culprit is our African parrot, Sir Muncelot Grey. But Sir Muncelot has denied the accusation and blames my monkey.
Ah, And who does your monkey blame?
How now, Dr. Forman? Be not absurd. Monkeys cannot speak.
Ah, yes. Then 'tis fortunate that God can. Speak to us, that is, by way of the stars. Who in the Fortescue household has been sneaking into the larder at night to steal pies? Madam, you may eliminate your son from your inquiries, for according to the stars, you have educated him well, and he knows not to steal pies.
Harry is innocent, is he? Then who has been eating our pies?
I am afeard it is the very last individual you would suspect. An individual who is in this very room with us now.
How now, Dr. Forman? Surely you would not accuse me?
Oh, nay, not you, madam. 'Tis your monkey. What was his name again?
You mean to say Sir Nanahad has been stealing our pies? Oh, my days! What a naughty monkey!
Quite. He is most naughty indeed, 'twould seem.
I must at once to home go and apologise to Sir Munchalot. I never should have doubted him. God give you good even, Dr. Forman. You have been a bad boy, have you not, Sir Nanahad? Who's a naughty monkey? Yes, you're the naughty monkey. Yes, you're the naughty monkey.
Good even, Mistress Fortescue.
Humphrey Bell, to play our leading Jane. You must pay the price of looking thin and nice. Drink all your fears, cease all your guilt, and shame, lest you be judged and we accord you blame.
Good even, Mr. Bell. What brings you so late this evening, young sir? Have you come from the playhouse?
Yea, I'm come from playing a duchess in a special performance of Richard II. You know, that play that makes the Queen look bad.
So, Mr. Shakespeare decided to revive his play, did he? I see.
I need you to tell me what to do about my pay. Our seamstress told me she heard Mistress Burbage discoursing how John Crisp is getting paid a full shilling for each performance.
And you feel this is unfair, I take it? I gather Mr. Crisp's pay is greater than yours.
Aye, sir. 'Tis full twice as much coin as they pay me. What I get is barely enough to cover my rent. And my parts are well bigger than his, innit?
And you can fathom no reason for this disparity in pay? He is more experienced, perchance.
What? I've been on the stage since I was a boy, and John's been playing for less than a year. Nay, sir. Mr. Burbage and them other company sharers are paying me less on account of how I'm doing the lady parts.
You mean to say you are being paid less simply because you perform lady roles?
Indeed. John only gets them main parts because he's big and tall, but I'm well better than he is. Critics call my Ophelia the most tantalisingly nubile and tragical performance since Henry Condell's Juliet.
Ah, yes. Having seen Hamlet, I would have to agree with them there. I must own that I, too, found your Ophelia most comely and alluring. Now, let's see what the stars advise. What can be done about you being paid less than players of masculine roles? According to the stars, your employers, the Lord Chamberlain's men, are very wise businessmen.
How do you reckon that? On account of them contriving to pay me less than I deserve?
Precisely so, Mr. Bell. And being so wise, they doubtless deter their hired men from discoursing upon the coin they receive for their labour, perchance to the extent where the men harbour such feelings of shame and suspicion about it, they would more readily show each other their privy parts before they would show their pay.
Aye, 'tis true enough. We oft pull our yardles out when we're jesting about and that. But as for a man's pay, forsooth, 'tis considered most private.
Well, such prudery must end if you and your fellow players are to advance your interests, Mr. Bell. Indeed, methinks that if you were all to begin freely discoursing upon these matters, you will find you are not the only player being paid unjustly. If you do decide to demand more coin from your employers, I advise you to unify with the other hired men and speak as one voice.
Zah! We shall unify and demand them company shearers pay us equal coin for equal playing.
Hear ye, hear ye! Earl of Essex, foiled in Queen, kidnap, attempt, shocker! Biggest treason fail since Babington plot! Hear ye!
Alice Black, she is a wife. 'Tis one way to live a life, oft with misfortune and with strife, especially if you be Black's wife.
Good day, Mistress Blagg. Pray tell, how did things fare with your gentleman friend, Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh?
Alas, 'tis all over betwixt me and Dean Wood. I did ask him for a small loan, and he was most insulting about it. We have not spoken since. And I think I know why his ardour for me has cooled, for I did lately learn that he has been bedding half the women in the diocese.
Ah, yes. I too did lately hear of this.
So your stars were very wrong to tell me I had nothing to fear from other women vying for Owen Wood's affections. But this day I am come about my husband. Methinks he is ill, yet he pretends he is not.
Ah, pray describe his symptoms to me.
Well, yesterday I did remark that something was amiss when Molly McDoon and I returned from the playhouse. Well, there was a special performance of Richard II at the Globe. Know you of it? Oh, 'tis the play that makes the Queen look bad.
I know of it.
When I came in the door, there was an awful racket coming from our upstairs rooms. I went to see what the matter was and found my husband tucked up abed, moaning and wailing, and with a monstrous rash all over his face. He told me some nonsense about having been stung by wasps, and that he is merely tired. But I do not believe him.
I see.
I bid you, Forman, tell me true, for I grow ill with worry. Is it grave? Blagg had better not think of dying on me afore he has paid his debts.
Ah, for as his widow, by law, you would inherit them, would you not? But mayhap there is little to worry about. Let us consult the stars and see. What ails Thomas Blagg, the Dean of Rochester? Alas, I am afeard your husband is ill with a disease known as erysipelas. He is in grave danger. Indeed, his case is advanced and beyond treatment. There is nothing to be done now but prepare yourself for his death, Mistress Blagg. Madam? Alice? Come, Alice, I will find you a chair.
Nay, I must not tarry. I am meeting Mistress McDoon at the Bear for a quiet one. Good day, Forman.
But Alice...
Hear ye, hear ye! Traitor loses head after losing mind! Earl of Essex gets the chop for treason! Hear ye!
If you try to argue with her, you will have no luck. She'll twist and turn your logic till your reason comes unstuck. Chastise Mary who you like, she will not give up. Will not give up.
Well met, Mistress Payne. How fare you this day?
Most well indeed, sir, for I am just come from taking my niece on an outing to Tower Hill. 'Twas to see the execution of the traitor Robert Devereux.
Ah, yes, Lord Devereux. What a tragic end to a promising career.
And such a lovely beheading they gave us. My niece and I very much enjoy the hangings at Tyburn, but a beheading is so much more elegant, is it not? Verily, 'tis a better class of execution, I find, and the royal executioner did go down on Devereux with such skill. A single stroke was all it took to give us the traitor's head.
Aye, 'tis true the royal executioner gives excellent...
But I have no time to tarry here and gossip with you, Dr. Forman. I am come on a matter of great concern. And you are just the man to help, methinks. For your prediction that Elizabeth's reign would endure was true. Whilst the Queen does have the appearance of being naught but a painted corpse, propped up on a throne using artfully placed cushions, she is, in lore at least, still alive. Praised be!
Ah, indeed. Praised be. And what is this new matter that concerns you?
'Tis that England is filling up with foreigners. Indeed, 'tis been going on for so many years now that in London 'tis rare to hear anyone discoursing in the English tongue any more. The city is crawling with continentals.
Ah, then I take it you do not enjoy your visit to the city of London.
Oh, nay, I have never been to London. For as I did just say, 'tis crawling with continentals, and Lambeth will soon suffer the same fate if we do not act. Why, only the other day I spied a continental on the high street. A monstrous ogre of a man he was. And as for his face, his eyelashes were so fair he had the appearance of having none at all.
Ah, yes, the Netherlanders. 'Tis true the people of the Netherlands can be fair of hair and tall of stature.
And 'tis surely no coincidence that Lambeth has suffered an increase in crime of late. We do not feel safe, Dr. Forman. Every night we ladies of Fore Street do shiver in our beds at the thought of these frighteningly large men.
I do not doubt it, madam. Now, let us see whether the stars might allay or confirm your fears. Should the residents of Lambeth be concerned about an influx of continentals? The stars indicate your concerns are justified, madam. As you know, many of these continentals are refugees fleeing Catholic violence. But while the poor souls are to be pitied, the stars remind us that our duty lies at home.
Aye, forsooth, sir. For how are we expected to solve all the problems of the world? England must come first.
Indeed it must. And although most of these continentals are doubtless very fine people...
Aye, doubtless.
There are some desperate criminal elements among them. Moreover, the introduction of continentals with their unusual customs and traditions into a closely bound community such as Lambeth could prove most disruptive. Such differences may provoke tensions that lead to violence.
Indeed, they may. I will have my husband ride to Lambeth Palace and demand that the Archbishop do something to protect the folk of Lambeth afore it is too late. Blessed day, Dr. Forman.
Hear ye, hear ye! Dean of Rochester Cathedral dies. New Dean pledges to refurnish empty cathedral. Hear ye!
Countrymen, at ease is our reward, for it is not enough to be by fans adored. For you we sigh, we drool and swoon, when we see you entering the room.
Good day, Mr. Bell, and well met. I recall you were hoping for a pay rise. How did that go?
Well, I got a pay rise, innit? I took your advice about banding together with the other hired men and gabbing about how much coin we was getting. Turns out, another one of the lads weren't getting paid enough for his lady parts neither. So, we all refused to do our rehearsals until the boss man fixed it.
Well done, Mr. Bell. I must say I am most proud of you.
But this day, I am come about my skin. She's so clapped I need twice as much ceruse as normal.
Ah, yes, Venetian ceruse, the white lead and vinegar paste ladies and players use to whiten their faces.
You have to fix it for me, Doctor, for my role in Mr. Shakespeare's new play. I'm to play a lady who disguises herself as a lawyer.
A lady cunningly disguised as a lawyer? Forsooth, how original. But I see not why you need worry over your complexion. Having a sound grasp of Latin and a talent for eloquence are the usual qualifications of a legal advocate, are they not? Is it verily necessary for this lawyer to have beauty as well?
Well, Mr. Burbage seems to think so.
These are enlightened times, and we must have confidence in our audience that they will accept, even welcome, the notion of a lady of learning, as long as she be lovely enough to lie with.
I see. And 'tis true your skin is looking a little less than lovely at present. Let us see if we may find a remedy for it in the stars. What is the matter with Humphrey Bell's face, and what may be done to improve its appearance? If I have learned anything from my feminine querents, 'tis that for most women beauty is not born, but earned. 'Tis oft a mere artifice, produced by much labour and toil.
But I do toil hard, Dr. Forman. I use a 3-step beauty regimen to get myself looking lovely, innit?
Only 3 steps? I must be frank with you, young sir. If you lack sufficient beauty, mayhap 'tis for a lack of effort on your part. I shall note some instructions down for you.
Aye, if you please, Doctor.
First, scrub your face with a mixture of eggshells, alum, and honey. Then you must apply rose water and lemon juice to help rid your face of wrinkles and blemishes. Then apply the white of a raw egg to your face. 'Twill act as a kind of glaze over your complexion. Oh, and have you considered purchasing an ass? Some of my querents bathe in ass's milk to soften their skin.
I doubt my landlady will be allowing me to keep no donkey in her attic, but methinks I can do all them other things. I thank you kindly, Doctor. I promise I will not let you down.
Mr. Forman, doubtless I need not explain why you have been brought before the College of Physicians this day. We have been informed that you persist in practicing medicine without a license, in defiance of the law and in spite of previous warnings given you by myself and my distinguished colleagues. How do you answer this charge? Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Sirrah?
I say that I am a good doctor, and that my many years of experience have allowed me to perfect my methods as a true physician.
You would dare speak of your methods, Mr. Forman? We are informed that you write your patients' names and complaints in a notebook, doubtless all the better to blackmail them with.
Ah, yes, my case books. Indeed, sir, 'tis most useful to be able to remember a querent's history.
Furthermore, you use astrological readings not simply to predict the course of an illness or judge the best time for a treatment, as good medicine teaches us, but you find the cause of the disease in the stars. You refuse to examine your patient's urine for this purpose.
Well, yes, for...
And you would dare claim that in these past years you have gained medical knowledge and skill from mere experience? Then I invite you to provide proof of it now. You will submit to an examination. Silence! Simon Forman, it is clear to me the answers you have just given were not your own, and that they were provided to you this day by some unnatural means. Such foul trickery and dark magic will not be tolerated within these walls. Remove this charlatan, this carnival quack from my sight.
What, again? I demand to speak with my legal counsel. You will regret this!
On his blood has suffered woe, life has brought her very low. Mayhap there be some solution, though. Read the stars and we shall know.
Well met, Alice, dear friend. Since your husband's death, I have oft thought of you. Fare you well?
Oh, Forman, I am sorry for not coming to see you sooner, for I was grateful for your warning about Blag's illness. It gave me the sense to bide with him in his final hours. It was only then that I did realise how much I did love the old fool, despite his mump-headed nature and his leaving me and the children with not a penny between us. But the day after he passed, I came upon a note he had writ for me. I warrant that was your idea, was it, Forman?
It may have been.
Then I thank ye for it, Simon, for 'twas a comfort to be left something to remember him by, even if it be the only thing he did leave me. But things are better since I did become Mistress Maysay.
Then you have remarried?
Aye, 'twas the only means of putting a roof over our heads and meat in our bellies. And Mr. Maysay is a kind man. Oh, but Forman, we may not have our roof much longer. Maysay has threatened to leave me.
The brute!
Well, to be fair, I suppose I did fail to apprise him of the full extent of Blag's debts, which are, as you know, not inconsiderable. But what am I to do about it now?
Ah, yes, of course. By marrying you, he is now responsible for the debts of your late husband, according to the law. In sooth, 'tis a high price to pay for a wife. No matter the marital bliss, her bountiful charms and fine qualities do doubtless afford him.
Save it for another day, Forman. 'Tis not your chub-brained flattery I am come for. 'Tis your counsel.
Then let us see if the stars may offer a solution. How may Alice Maysay prevent her husband petitioning for a divorce? Alas, you have little hope of calming your new husband's feelings about your late husband's debts. But the stars suggest that your family might go abroad, and thus put yourself out of the reach of Blag's creditors. You must do this without delay.
Go abroad? You mean where foreigners live?
Aye. My chart also suggests that you find some creative solution to ensure your husband's cooperation in such a project. Has he ever expressed an interest in the New World colonies? Or perchance you might suggest an extended tour of Roman antiquities.
Nay, but I will put my mind to it. But if we do go abroad, this is doubtless the last time I shall ever see you, Forman.
Hear ye! Nation mourns death of beloved Queen. King James of Scotland tipped to succeed to the English throne. Hear ye!
Humphrey Bell, you must not taste so ill, for though your beauty does fade, we do adore you still. Our eyes are so wide, our thoughts so undefined, at the sight of your shapely behind.
Good day, Mr. Bell. Oh, I must congratulate you on your performance of the comely lady lawyer in The Merchant of Venice, and methinks your skin is much improved. 'Tis verily glowing.
Aye, all those beauty tips you gave me were wondrous well. 'Tis true, it takes me a full hour every morning even to do my face, but at least I'm comely enough now to keep working, innit?
Forsooth, 'tis well to hear the troubles with your skin are resolved. Now, what is it you come for this day?
Mr. Shakespeare has written a new play, and I need to look younger if I'm to get a good part in it. 'Tis about an ancient Roman general called Titus Andronicus. I wish to play the role of his comely mother, the Lady Tamara.
You need to look younger in order to play a man's mother, you say. But according to my casebook, why, sir, you are not yet 25 years of age.
Aye, sir, indeed. 'Tis but the business of playing, though, innit? At least, according to Mr. Burbage. He was well vexed when I pointed out how the man played tights is near as old as I am.
If the stage is not to your liking, Mr. Bell, I invite you to seek employment elsewhere.
All right, then. Let us see what the stars advise. What can be done to make my querent Humphrey Bell appear younger? My chart suggests if you were to undergo some manner of transformation, it might help you recapture your youthful allure.
Like, what kind of transformation?
Well, you might consider changing over your appearance. My lady querents tell me that a change of hair or wig colour can leave them feeling quite renewed, particularly those ladies who have lately been cast aside by a lover.
You saying I just changed my hair and bish bash bush a little younger?
Apparently so. I am told that lightening the hair can be particularly efficacious, as it evokes a youthful, almost childlike appearance in a woman. Such lightening is easily achieved by soaking the hair in urine.
Urine? Like stick my head in my chamber pot or something?
Aye, mayhap after you make your morning water. Fresh urine is usually preferred, for then 'tis agreeably warm when applied to the head.
I will not lie, that sounds mad. But if all the ladies are doing it, I might give it a try.
All this energy for dinners and parties, that's not say, can you conceive of what could be achieved if so to give a man?
Good morrow, Mistress Fortescue. How may I do you, sir?
Oh, Dr. Forman, I have urgent need of your advice. Oh, woe! I know not what I am to do.
On my word, madam, I have never before seen you in such a state. Pray tell, whatever can the matter be?
'Tis my husband, Captain Fortescue. God mend me! He has been implicated in a conspiracy to commit treason.
Ah, yes, your husband, Captain Henry Fortescue. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh, is he not? Oh, methinks I see your problem. For Raleigh has been implicated in a plot against our new king, has he not? 'Tis said the plotters wished to oust the king and install the king's cousin on the throne. Or was Raleigh involved in that other plot? The one to kidnap the king and force him to appoint a more religiously tolerant privy council. In truth, there are so many plots against the English throne these days, 'tis hard to keep abreast of them all.
Indeed, I know not which plot Sir Walter was arrested for, but I have heard tell that the Privy Council seeks to find conspirators amongst his associates. Hence I have been hiding my husband in our cellar and pretending he's still away at sea.
But why would your husband fear arrest? Was he involved in Sir Walter Raleigh's plot?
Nay, he was not. But all London believes that he and Sir Walter are very great friends.
Ah, yes, I see. But what of your own friends, Mistress Fortescue? All those lords, ladies, and bishops who have so oft graced your table, would they not speak in your husband's defence?
Well, dear Emma says she will speak for my husband, but alas, she now has little influence at court on account of some scandals of her own. As for my other acquaintances, they have all disowned me. They decline my invitations, and no one is at home to me when I call upon them. Even Sir Munchalot has stopped speaking to me.
Even your parrot, madam? On my word, that is very cold.
I beseech you, sir, read the stars and tell me how I might save my husband from arrest. Pray assure me he will be safe.
Let us see, then. Is Captain Henry Fortescue in danger of being arrested for treason? If so, what might Mistress Fortescue do to prevent it? Madam, although your friends in the royal court may no longer own you in public, perchance they could be prevailed upon to act on your behalf in private. Verily, madam, I urge you to write to them and bid them use their influence in your family's favour. Mayhap they can quietly speak well of your husband to the king and to the lords of the Privy Council. In the meantime, you must behave as if you have nothing to fear or be ashamed of, as if your husband is full innocent of treason. Hold your head high, Mistress Fortescue.
But oh, Dr. Forman, surely you see how low I am come.
Madam, have you not before suffered the slings and arrows of social misfortune and yet risen victorious?
Well,
You had a house full of guests purging from all their orifices, and yet you did not waver. You suffered an attack upon your mucosal membrane by the most fiendish of New World fruits, those known to affright the bravest of conquistadors, and yet you soldiered on. And after you played the fool before lords, bishops, and countesses, still they thronged for invitations to your luncheons. Truly, madam, are you not a leader amongst women? Reclaim your place at London's dinner tables and use it to save your husband. Take back your Camelot.
indeed, sir, I shall not be cowed by spiteful wagging tongues any longer. I now go forth to restore my husband's honour and our family's good name.
Fare you well, and Godspeed, Mistress Fortescue.
Humphrey Bell, your time upon the stage grows near to its end as you advance in age. But hold, no tears, come down, resign, your fears, you're just too old to earn a living wage.
Good day to you, young sir. May I say, your playing of Titus Andronicus's comely mother was excellent well. A wondrous performance, Mr. Bell.
Yay, I did get to play the role of Tamara in the end, but it weren't on account of changing my hair, innit? Lightning made it too fair. All the other players are like, "Brav, you look like a Neverlander or something."
Ah, I must own I did not account for the risk of that.
Boss man only let me keep the role because Mistress Burbage made him. This why I need your help, Doctor, for now she says I'm in her debt and she's asking me for things.
Ah, she wants her pound of flesh, does she?
I sir, she does. And she's told me in bare detail which part of my body she means to have it from.
On my word! But surely, Mr. Bell, if Mistress Burbage's attentions occasion you discomfort, you have merely to tell her so. Make it plain you wish your relationship to remain professional and bid her abstain from any amorous advances.
You what? Nay, sir. If I air her, she'll be vexed and I could lose my job. Know you what I mean?
Ah, I see, yes. If she were to take umbrage, she might use her influence over her husband to prevent you from getting work. Well, I do have a recipe for a very effective aphrodisiac. Nay? Then let us see what the stars advise. How might Humphrey Bell calm the ardour of Mistress Burbage without it costing him his career? The stars indicate that Mistress Burbage harbours an excess of choler in her heart. It has given her a somewhat dominating disposition, and such women oft show a preference for men they perceive to be submissive.
What are you saying, Doc?
Perchance if you were to adopt a more assertive, commanding demeanour, Mistress Burbage's lustful ardour may be tempered.
What you mean, like, be all hench and that? I will not lie, 'tis not me though, innit? You heed me.
But you are a skilled player, are you not? Think upon it as a role I have given you, as if all the world's a stage, and you are merely playing. At being, hench, as you so call it. You can do it, Mr. Bell.
Aye. Yea, methinks I can. I thank you kindly, Dr. Forman.
Lancelot Moore is doubtless a fool, yet men of his class are destined to rule. They tell us 'tis but the order of things, as is the divine right of kings.
Good even, Mr. Moore. How may I do you service?
I have a mind to take up a profession and would have your counsel on it. For I must say, your advice thus far has been most excellent. Counselling me not to marry that sly succubus Emma Dyer did veritably save my life. Indeed, I have heard it rumoured that her husbands have a lamentable habit of dying, if you follow my meaning. In short, their deaths are most unnatural and not at all accidental. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Forman?
Aye, I do, Mr. Moore. Pray afford me a moment to recover from the excess of shock and surprise I do feel upon being told of the lady's true nature. Now, you say you wish to take up a profession. 'Tis a military career you're considering, I presume? You wish to distinguish yourself in battle?
Nay, 'tis a career in the church. I have a mind to take holy orders.
You wish to become a clergyman? Pray tell, how came you by this notion?
'Twas given me by the top dog himself, the Archbishop of Canterbury. He's a hunting chum of my father's. Aye, the Archbishop is a crack shot with a musket. You should see him at it, Forman. Give the man half an hour and a pouch of lead shot, and he'll turn your duck pond into duck soup. It seems the Archbishop has had his eye on me for quite some time.
Verily, indeed.
He says I show great promise, and that under his personal tutelage I should rise very rapidly. He even said he has a mind to make me Bishop of Salisbury.
Ah, yes, the much-coveted bishopric of Salisbury.
But before I make my final decision, Forman, I thought I'd better come to you first.
Aye, very wise of you. Then let us see what the stars foretell. Would my querent, Lancelot Moore, enjoy success as a clergyman? May I discourse frankly, sir, as someone who has guided you these many years past?
Yea, I suppose so.
Have you considered that your particular tastes and proclivities might be ill-suited to a life of service in the church?
My tastes and proclivities? Ha! If you only knew of the tastes and proclivities indulged at the Archbishop's Palace in Lambeth, I would tell you what they are, Forman. But what occurs at Lambeth Palace bites.
At Lambeth Palace. Yes, I'm well aware. But as for his offering you the bishopric of Salisbury, well, the stars do indicate that His Grace has promised the bishopric of Salisbury to every dean from here to the Isle of Man. He is unlikely to ever grant it to you.
Verily? He has? How very wrong of the Archbishop to make promises he does not keep. You were very right to warn me of this, for I do not think I could bide the company of such a man for long. I thank you, Forman. You have served me well this day.
Here comes crafty Emma. What does she ask for now? Many times a week it is needless to say how, despite her sins, may she be saved the most of what God gave. Here comes crafty Emma. What does she ask for now?
God give you good day, madam.
Good day to you, sir, and well met.
And how fares your husband, Lady Dyer? I recall you were worried for his health.
'Twas the diabetes, the disease you judged him as having. He died from wounds that never healed.
You mean the wound on his lordship's hand? But I recall you saying it was quite small.
Oh, yes, that wound was, but he acquired many more. One evening, whilst we were summering at our country estate, the stone railing of our balcony gave way, and he fell into some particularly thorny rose bushes.
Verily? How distressing. And he never recovered from the scratches?
Nay, 'twas most tragical and so forth.
Well, I am sorry to hear of your husband's passing, but, madam, are you quite well? You do not seem yourself this day, if I may remark on it.
Dr. Forman, I am more myself than you have ever seen me, for during these past years I have been playing a role that has served me well, to be sure, but I am grown tired of it. Indeed, I am not proud of my dissembling. I'm not proud of some other things besides.
And doubtless you are come to unburden yourself by confessing your, what those things are.
What? Nay, of course not. As I was saying, whilst my dissimulations have afforded me wealth and status, such a life as I have lived has not fulfilled me. For though I have been married many times and known many men, I have always lacked one important thing.
A moral compass?
And that thing is love. In short, I have found love, Dr. Forman, and the object of my affection is not one of these privileged popinjays I've met at the royal court. Nay, 'tis a real man, a man who knows what it is to make his own way in the world.
Oh, you mean to say... You mean you and I?
Verily, upon seeing him play Tamara in Titus Andronicus at the Globe one even, I was, well, my heart was took.
I see. You are in love with a player then, I take it.
Aye, and I wish to marry him. But first, I would know whether such a match be advisable. Is our love true, or is my considerable coin and property where his true affections lie? Such a deception would not surprise me in truth.
Well, nay, doubtless it would not. Let us see whether the stars can tell us. The stars bless the match between you and the young man.
They do not think it would be bad for him in some way. They do not judge.
The chart indicates that your relationship with this young man has changed you. It would be a faithful, lasting marriage.
Verily? I must own I dared not expect such a happy ending to my story. I thank ye heartily, Dr. Forman.
Humphrey Bell, our thoughts we must disclose. Though your acting is fine, you wear too many clothes. 'Tis hot, rebite not, sit down, recline upon this couch and take a little wine.
Good day, Mr. Bell. I see here in my notes the last time you came 'twas for counsel regarding Mistress Burbage and her tender advances.
Aye, and your advice to be dominating her were very well. 'Tis made Mr. Burbage start seeing me in a whole new light, innit? He was well impressed when I told her to go make me some pottage before rehearsal.
If you are so eager to comport yourself like a man, Humphrey, methinks 'tis time you did so upon the stage.
I see. So, as well as resolving the matter with Mistress Burbage, you have also been promoted to playing male roles now. On my word, that is very well to hear.
'Tis about another lady I'm come this day. 'Tis a member of the audience who comes to all my performances and brings me flowers and sweetmeats. A mature lady. A widow, innit?
Another one. On my word, you are most ill-fortuned, Mr. Bell. Verily, are no young players safe these days from being preyed upon by lecherous old ladies?
'Tis not all ladies, Dr. Forman. Not this one, anyways. Emma ain't like any of the other ladies I've met. In truth, Dr. Forman, we wish to be wed. I love her, innit?
Ah, then what is your trouble?
Well, I've heard tell of some vexing things. There are them that say she has a heart of stone and only marries to get her hands on a man's money, though I have none, and she be rich. But she has been widowed many times, and there's even a rumour saying she's had a hand in her husband's deaths.
Oh, verily? How shocking.
I must own to being a trifle shook by it, and maybe a bit excited as well, but mainly shook, innit?
Doubtless you are, for 'tis most frightening if there be any truth to these rumours. We must consult the stars and see whether it be wise for you to marry. Should Humphrey Bell wed this wealthy widow, and what will become of him if he does? Mr. Bell, it has been my privilege to guide you over the years, in matters of work and in life. Wisely, I hope, but certainly with the greatest sense of care for your well-being. Indeed, I have come to think of you as a father might think of a son. 'Tis a responsibility I have not taken lightly, and in loco parentis, as it were, I feel an obligation to...
Sir, begging your pardon, sir, but I'm going to stop you right there, because I need to know, innit? Should I marry Emma or not?
Yes, I believe you may safely marry this lady, Mr. Bell. The stars suggest the rumours you did hear about her are needlessly cruel.
So this all lies then?
Well, not quite all lies, nay. The stars do also indicate that the lady was formerly most fixated upon the acquisition of money, though 'twould seem she no longer harbours such pecuniary passions, such as is consistent with her desire to marry a penniless player such as yourself.
Sir, it is decided. I shall marry my dear, sweet Emma. I'd be honoured if you came to see us wed, Dr. Forman, if you be not too busy in that.
The honour shall be all mine, young Humphrey.